Ain't crying.
Yeah.
I ain't crying, bro.
Man, it's so emotional, brother. And I think it was extra special too to just see also see the crew in tears
Mm,
as well, with you. That was definitely a beautiful moment. Yeah, man. I want to let some people get in, but I imagine that was something to kind of relive that moment.
yeah. Yeah, no, it was yeah, I mean every time like I've seen it multiple times now. Um but every time that I've watched it, it some of those parts that I mean I cry every time I watch the part, with me watching the video with my especially when my kids kick in, Um just knowing where I was at that point in the race or in the run. Um Emotionally, mentally, physically, all the things, and then to have them in particular, like my mom and my sister being on that, and my friends being on there as well, because there was
Mm.
more voices on there as well. Like it wasn't just there was actually like quite a few people that
Okay.
tapped in. But hearing my kids and hearing their voices like that and that knowing that I needed it. It wasn't like they just like, hey, send your dad a message. It was it was he's going through it, like and they say knew I needed something and they both delivered
Mhm.
exactly how they would.
It was beautiful, man. It was really beautiful. I'm catching an echo. I don't know if it's coming from
Okay,
your
maybe it's
side or
me.
my
Maybe
side.
I'm gonna take these off.
Okay.
Is that better?
Do you hear it?
I don't hear it. I heard it earlier, but I don't hear it no more.
Okay. I want to
Think
hold on. Okay. I found it.
we try to put these back on.
Okay. There we go. Yep. Cool.
We should be good.
All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're good. We're good. All right. So yeah, really quick intro for those of you that are joining, for those of you that watch this later. My name is Jarek, and we just watched Hero, um, produced by Tommie Runz himself. It was about Tommie's journey running TSP LALV 2025 this past March, running solo, 340 miles, maybe plus miles, depending on whether or not you took a wrong turn or not, from Los Angeles to Vegas. The film was created by Olu. A shout out to Olu. And you know, I want to kind of kick things off super quick with just like a icebreaker moment, just like quickly just hitting me with kind of responses to this. And then we'll jump into a little bit more behind the story. Uh, so, what is, if LALV had a soundtrack, what is the opening track for you?
Oh man, I think my opening track for LA for my LALV experience would have to be Nipsey Hussle Victory Lap.
Okay.
Even though it's like Victory Lap, but like the way that that album opened just was so epic, and
Mhm.
LALV the way that TSP the way that you kick it off, it's a lot of energy, but it's such a crazy. Them first couple steps are insane. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like
Mhm.
the first couple steps, knowing that it's you nowhere near close to the end of this thing is a wild experience, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a journey. And I even appreciated how, I think a lot of people can say, okay, I'm going to finish by this time, and which we
Yeah,
saw in the
yeah.
film, and it was just like, I got a whole nother day
Yeah.
uh, after so much. All right, that was good one. Victory lap is a solid answer by Nipsey. All right, and then if the desert could talk, what would it say?
I don't think it would.
Mm,
I don't think it would say a thing, bro. Um, I think the thing about like the desert and just like nature and being that vast and that just present, like it. I don't think it would say anything. I mean, because it
mm.
just doesn't need to.
Okay, okay. Respect, respect. All right, let's jump into some questions and dive a little bit deeper
All right.
into to you, to the film. So did some homework, of course, and I actually looked at your TSP application.
Oh dang!
Um,
Hold on, hold on. I don't know what I said. I don't know what I said to get
no, no,
in.
no. It's cool. It's cool.
All right, all right.
It's cool. But there's a question that says, "Hey, tell me a bit more about yourself." And this is what you chose to write. You said, "It sounds terrible. It seems impossible. I must try. It would mean so much to my communities." So, can you tell me more about what you meant by that, and who are those communities that you are referring to?
That's crazy. That's wild. That sounded like me a little bit. That I think that was before I started using ChatGPT too. So that's what's up. Uh, um, yeah. The the concept of like it just seeming like something that just once was impossible, and even I
Mhm,
told people like it was impossible before I did it. It was impossible while I was doing it, and it felt impossible after it happened. And I feel like things like that are things that move the needle forward for you yourself as a person and as an individual, but anybody around you that's able to kind of see you go through all those different moments and iterations, like while trying to like achieve like the seemingly impossible.
mhm,
And then like for the communities, I meant like I'm very aware that I'm a black male in like the run space or black person in the run space. And I think that, as as I've grown in the sport, it's easy to go, like with the like that I represent the black community, which I do, just because I mean we all do, in
mhm,
that sense. But at the same time, my story isn't necessarily just about being a black person. My story is about being a father. My story is about um, mainly about sobriety and what like the struggle prior to sobriety and the fight to stay sober and the fight to find meaning in life after you've after you've gone through all these different things and like kind of grapple with like finding meaning in all of it,
mhm,
and also being able to share that because a lot of us go through things and seemingly win, but the story and the message is always kind of on that other side of like of it, and a lot of times we don't get to or have the desire to share the dark things, and
mhm,
I want to share as much as I can when it comes to how I approach all things so that anybody can be inspired. And that's kind of why I say communities because
mhm.
it's very obvious stuff like black, sober, runner, but then people that are just going through stuff, bro. Because like
Yeah,
there's, I just know. I mean, we all know now. I mean, just there's more people suffering in this world than not. That's just that's just what it is. And for us
absolutely.
to kind of act like that's not the thing and like that we all need a slap on the back is wild. Like some of
Mhm.
us just need to hear other people tell their truth.
Yeah, yeah, and I believe we can learn from others' suffering and apply it to our own lives, and so,
Yeah.
yeah, that hits, and so the film, it was called Hero.
Hmm.
Can you talk through why that title, and then talk through also that nugget at the end?
Okay. Well, sorry. All right. So the I wanted to. I called Olu. I think we talked many times before. And one of the we were trying to find like a theme of this film. Like I knew he was gonna be there. I knew he was gonna film this whole thing. A big
Mhm,
shout out to Ola. I mean, he's just like I was giving him kudos when we were just in San Antonio. But bro, really like stepped up and tackled like this amazing challenge and like really delivered something that I think is extremely beautiful in this film. But I called him. I'm like, I want to make this. At first, I wanted it to be just so much, so heavy in like on the sobriety side of things because like that's where everything started for me. But then I came across this. I think he's the author of a book, but he in all stories there's several different characters. There's a villain, there's a victim, there's a guide, and then there's a hero. In all
Mhm.
stories, in any aspect, like pick Batman, Superman, whatever, in
Mhm.
or some and even more serious movies, there's always a balance of those different things. And in our lives, I feel like we all play a role. We all play those roles, maybe all at one time or in different parts of our lives. We're all a victim at some point. We play that
Mhm.
victim role, or we're a villain in some aspects, and then in hopefully we become a guide for other people. And then we all hope to have that moment where we are the hero of that moment or that part of our story. And I think that, you know, for me, and I kind of talked about it in the doc a little bit when I was in the trailer. It's, if you've made any change in your life at all, it doesn't have to be as big as, like, as sobriety sounds. But if you've taken a stance, like, against a pattern that you saw developing in your own life, if you took a stance against a pattern that you saw in your family's, your generational type of situation, or you just took a stance against, you know, anything, like you
Mhm.
decided to be a hero, the hero of that part of your story in that moment. And sometimes we have like these really big issues, or habits or addictions or whatever, that we almost never feel like we can get on the other side to choose to be the hero of those moments, and change that part of our lives and then continue to grow in that way. And I wanted this thing that, like, I just thought was impossible, thought was crazy. I wanted this to be like the physical, um version or physical, like, display of just literally, like I said, like grabbing, like driving your own vehicle and
Yeah.
deciding that I'm good no matter how wild this ends up being and how crazy this is, and how tough it is. Going to go after it, whether it happens or not. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna push and see what happens on the other side of this. So I'm like, yo, we got to call this hero, and
Mhm.
that's it. And not me being the hero for you. It's me being the hero of my thing. And if
Your
I can
own
do
hero.
that, then you can be the hero of yours. Um, and then the cool, crazy part is like we talked about this 3 weeks before, and had it nailed down. It's going to be called Hero. That's it. We didn't talk about it. I didn't post it. I didn't whatever. And I get to the end of the race, touch the sign, and the guy that was standing there, a guy from Japan. He had taken some pictures of me, or he snagged a couple pictures of me when I ran the Osaka Marathon in 2024. I don't know him. I didn't know him then. I think he reached out and sent me a couple pictures back in 2024. And then I just happened to get to the sign at 3 something in the morning, and he's there taking pictures for some of the relay teams coming in. So he recognized me, took some shots, and then he got some information from me really quick to, like, hey, I'm gonna send you these again. And his English isn't like, he didn't have he wasn't, his English is definitely not his first language, and but he was obviously communicating well. But he was like, when I'm about to walk away, he says hero, like he stopped me and was like hero, and not like you are a hero,
Yeah.
you did a great job, or all these other things. He just said one word and it was hero, and it sent like chills through my body to, like, at that point, after all that, for no one to have known what this is going to be called.
Yeah.
And he probably wasn't even paying attention to the fact that this was being recorded.
Mhm.
He said the word hero, and that's when I knew that that this is meant to be, and
Mhm.
that this documentary, this film, will hopefully touch at least one person to
Yeah.
decide to be that hero.
1000%, man. I'm gonna hit you with something extra now. I told you via text before. I was like, I got a surprise for you, something that I recognized in watching the film. So a really quick story about me. So I was a walk on in football at D1 school, Boston College. And the way it worked at my school was as a walk on, like I had what my number was. I was number 37. But and most people, like if you were number one, you were locker one. If you were number
Mhm.
two, you were locker two. And but all of the walk ons had triple digit numbers. and that's what ended up being on our sweats as well, right? So we didn't have the cool effect of like walking around campus with like number 25 on your sweats. It was
Mhm.
a moment, but walk-ons, you had 3 digits, and everyone was kind of like, "Why do you have 3 digits? Are you like a manager? Do you even
Yeah.
play?" Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Wasn't the cool factor wasn't there, and it was kind of a shame. I was ashamed of my 3 digit number for most of my time there. And fast forward, I like embraced it. I was like, you know what? I'm the underdog. That's cool. Let me embrace this. And
That's
in
wild.
doing that, I ended up earning myself to like the proper locker, my
Yeah.
37 locker.
Yeah.
But my locker number was 111,
Of
and
course.
it's tattooed on my back.
Yeah.
Like this is the biggest tattoo I have. And so when I saw that in your doc, I was tripping, because I was like, this is kind of crazy
Yeah.
because I feel like it's a thing that I also see and notice and recognize. Um, and I ended up keeping most of my sweats that still have that 111 number on there. And so uh yeah, I was like, this is
That is crazy.
don't I don't believe in coincidence, but I thought it was awesome that here we are having this conversation.
Yeah.
And yeah, can you share a bit more about the 111? I know you shared some
Yeah.
in the doc, but would love to hear more.
Yeah, yeah. So I was able to choose sobriety. Like so I went to go see a therapist on January 11th, 2017. And
Mhm,
the therapy, like it was just a moment in life where I was just like, I mean, I was, alcoholic as alcoholics get, and I was just, but I was suffering like kind of not alone because I mean I have a family and all this other stuff, but I was just I was dealing with the the weight of it all, like kind of just internally. And my mom had texted me, and she had texted me, millions of times, asked me if I was okay.
mhm,
But this one time, she texted me and she was like, "How's my son doing?" And I just texted her back. I told her the truth, one time. I'm like, that's her one truth. I'm like, not doing so great, you know. And she like, "Oh, okay, what's going on?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just," and I really deflected it and was like, "Oh, it's this, and this." And then she was like, "Well, go. You have a job. You have insurance. Call EAP, which is Employee Assistance Program. Hit them up and see if they can connect you with a therapist." And then so they called. I called. Submitted to that, and then they called and they asked me like, "How much do you drink?" Like what's that was just part of their routine. And I wasn't calling about alcoholism. I was calling about
mhm.
like therapy. And
Yeah.
then so they asked me how much I drank, and I told the truth again. And I told them like
Mm,
I'm not really sure. So that's two truths. That's two truths, right? And then they were like, "Okay, all right, well." And then they connected me with a lady who was, a marriage counselor or family counselor, and then also with like a main like side thing as a substance abuse specialist, right?
mm,
So I agreed to go see her, and I sat down in her office, and she asked me the question about alcohol, and I told her the truth. So I told three truths,
the truth.
and as soon as like that last one, it just everything kind of snowballed. Like, and that was me being a hero of of my story, which was just telling the truth once, because
Mhm, mhm.
it's a scary thing to say, like to admit that like how un uncontrol like out of
Yeah.
control you are, like as a person, but like as a man that like has kids, like
Mhm.
just to admit that you are putting yourself and your kids' lives in danger because you can't help it
Yeah.
is a wild thing to like admit. So to tell them three truths, it set me into this position where like I could sit in front of this lady and she says, "Hey, you can go to I know somebody that goes to AA, he's a cool guy, you should go with him. It's Sunday." This is like
Mhm,
Wednesday. And I'm like, all right, but I didn't drink going into her office. I stopped drinking the night before, the 10th of
mhm,
January. And I'm like, you know what, if I don't drink now, if I don't want to go in her office smelling like alcohol, right? So I didn't drink anything on the 11th of January, and which was it was in the morning, but I drink whenever. And she said Sunday, just go with him, no pressure. If you show up, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. So I was like, I can do it. I'll show up, and so I decided somehow in there that I wasn't going to drink from that Wednesday when I left her office till at least when I got to this AA meeting just to see what it was about. and that was like, what's that, like 5 days or 4 days, something like
Mhm,
that.
mhm,
And to be honest, bro, like at that point, like there wasn't a stretch for a year before that or more that I could make it 4 days.
mhm.
So somehow, like because of those, maybe the power that I had in the truths that I told,
Yeah.
that I could, like I can make, if I did that, if I was willing to tell the truth, I can make it till Sunday. So I walked into that room, and it was a room full of people that ain't look like me at all. A bunch of white folks, middle aged to older. And I'm like, this ain't for me. But as soon as I started talking, or as soon as they started telling their stories, not had nothing to do with me. They didn't care if I was there or not. But they
Mhm.
started telling their stories, and I heard my story in almost every single share before me. And that's why, w- whenever I got the microphone or an opportunity to share, I'm gonna try to tell the whole truth, because them people that I swore wasn't gonna be like me at all were like me, and they saved my life, because at that moment I'm like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. And then I
Yeah.
didn't drink after that. Didn't drink since the 11th of January, and that's what
Yeah.
111 means. I got it tatted. I need to get it bigger too, but
Yeah, come on now.
uh, but but that's where 111 comes from, and it
Yeah.
means so much to me.
That's beautiful, man. And uh I'm curious, this version of you before sobriety, what would they think of you today, or you even completing the race solo in the way that you did?
I mean, it's not even a thought, really. Like
Mhm.
it's not a question. Like
Yeah.
it's just not a question. It's not even like I can't even entertain it, because
Mhm.
I know that there's no correlation between, the only thing in it, honestly, like, and I've said it before, like the only correlation between that guy, that was just that guy, and this man here, is the dedication to just push through, like
Mhm.
all signs of stop,
Yeah.
because I think a lot of people look down on, or we look down on ourselves too, but we look, people, society looks down on people that have like addiction issues and alcoholism and all this stuff. But to be honest, bro, like, to be an alcoholic or an addict, and not be in, just like be in those moments of that darkness, that's the hardest thing in the world. Like,
Mhm.
to just do it every day and know that you're doing it and have no choice and just keep rolling with it, and
Yeah.
just gamble every day, gamble with I'm talking about your life and your
Mhm.
freedom, that's a hard thing to do. And I'm not saying, like, I was weak in certain spots, but I exhibited so many moments of strength, even if it was for the wrong reason,
Yeah.
and I think that um that's a part of the conversation that, like, maybe needs to be had, is that we have the strength to do anything,
Mhm.
that's possible, that's actually, like, physically possible. We have the strength to stop and start and go and to complete what we said we was going to do, all these things, but we overlook the strength it took to not do the right thing
Yeah.
sometimes, you
Yeah.
know
Mhm.
and that's the only correlation between, pre January 11th Tommy and this one, is I'm choosing the struggle. I'm choosing the suffering, because before
Mhm.
it was just part of darkness, was just part of life, and now it's like I'm
Yeah.
I'm picking the battles.
Man, that's powerful. Uh, sorry, give me a second. um, I appreciate that. I'm really excited about this conversation, man.
I
All right.
appreciate I appreciate you too, bro. Like, for taking the time to tap in on a level like this.
Most definitely. So you quoted something when you were running out there.
Which one? Which
You
one?
said this is the legend of
Okay,
Cassius
I should
Clay,
stay.
the most beautiful fighter in the world today.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
let's talk about that.
Man, I don't even know what was happening right at that point. I mean, I think I don't know. I wasn't listening to music at that second. I don't know what it was, but I just needed something to do. And I
Yeah,
remember back in the day, like, I think I had to memorize like a speech, and I think I picked like the Cassius Clay speech. I can't remember
yeah,
all of it
yeah,
anymore, but like, like Clay swings with the left, Clay swings with the right. Look young Cassius carry the fight.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it was, I could. it was just crazy. But I really loved like Muhammad Ali too. Like
Mhm.
before, I don't even know when that Will Smith movie came out, but
Yeah.
that was dope too. But it was just like I don't think I see. You know what, I love him for like his like the bravado and all the stuff that he carried, through all
Mhm.
those fights and just doing his thing. But like now that you look back at it, like that was not even that wasn't for him. None of that
Mhm.
stuff was for him. Like the way he carried himself and the time that he carried himself in, he did that for everybody.
Mhm. Mhm.
He acted like that for everybody.
Yeah.
He was loud for everybody. I mean, obviously he was a competitor and all that stuff, but if you look at like the way that he kind of walked that whole thing,
Mhm.
it wasn't perfect
Yeah.
by far. But if he didn't help usher in a a black person, a black person or two or 1,000, that maybe not as loud and boastful because they were in the champ of the heavyweight champion of
Yeah.
the world, but I have a voice,
Mhm.
and I can use it, and I can, but then I also can use what I'm good at
Mhm.
to push against whatever is the status quo is for that.
Yeah.
And I like that. I just like watching him do his thing in speeches in the ring, because he carried this thing where it's like he's lifting everybody up that's willing to
Yeah.
hold on to that.
Yeah, it brought me back when I went back to the speech
Yeah.
when I watched. And one line that I always appreciated was, so don't bet against me.
Yeah.
I'm a man of my word. He's the greatest.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I was like, yeah, I need to. I'm gonna start reiterating that to myself as I move through life. And so I appreciate that reminder. All right, and then I want to jump into like two more questions here. And one of the things is, what surprised you out there? Like being out there, there's so much unknown. There's so much, like, as much as you can plan, you knew the route that you were going to run, and I'm sure that a lot of people that don't know, there's a lot of extensive research that goes into planning these types of races. But no matter how much you plan, you can still be surprised out
Yeah.
there.
Well, first I want to say, I don't know if you're watching, but big, 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 big shout out to Malcolm. Malcolm is like just a gem, or like
Yeah, truly.
in the running community in general.
Hmm.
But for some reason, he jumped into a couple of our calls with the team. He said, "I'll help, whatever. I'll give you whatever.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you. You can look at the route, look at the this, all that, whatever."
Mhm.
But he got on the call and like kind of like set us straight. And like we had the right concept, we had the right thought about like, oh, team, whatever. And he like, nah, you are running 340 miles or whatever you're gonna run. This is about you. You had to
Mhm.
figure out how to do this thing,
Yeah.
and they got to be there to help you do that thing. And it just shifted it a little bit where, me as I've always kind of had this, self-deprecating thing that like I thought was just, humble or whatever I thought it was, but there's certain moments where you do have to just like do your thing and
Mhm.
allow people to be there to help you. And he said that much straighter than that, but that's what I took from it. And it's okay to step into like this thing that you're doing and like wear it,
Mhm.
but like what surprised me out there was just um how peaceful, other than the dogs, because like
Mhm.
the dogs are a thing, bro. Like the dogs are an issue. We
Yeah.
need to send out. We talking about National Guard. We send the National Guard out for these dogs. At least just put a fence up, please. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some of these people just got their dogs out. But it was like just like those, how peaceful it can be in the middle of everything, because
Mhm.
you're not moving very fast, but
Yeah.
it's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in your head. You trying to fight the thought of 200 more miles or this many more miles, or you trying to fight off the thought of the pain that you got going on. And you try to do that as long as you can all day until you just can't fight it no more.
Mhm. Mhm.
But even in all of these things, it's just this level of like peace and like tranquility almost, because it's like you're only doing one thing, and is one thing is your goal is to get to this one place, and that's it all day long. That's all you kind of think about, and we don't have that very often where you can. Malcolm said it in his doc. It's like there's not many moments where like a grown up can just focus on one goal
Mm.
and
Mhm.
not really worry about nothing else. And then everybody around you is also doing that for you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it might have been Victor. I think he said he was just like, this might be one of the most supported moments of like my a life. Other than your parents when you was a
Mhm.
kid.
Mhm.
But when have you ever been 6, 7 days where just everything that everybody around you is thinking is for you?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that is wild. And that means it's not just a run or whatever. It's not just a bunch of miles. It means something to them too.
Mhm.
Because they wouldn't be doing it without
Yeah.
whether it's you or it's the goal or it's the you and the goal or it's the meaning. I don't know. But it's a crazy thing.
You know, it it speaks to the type of leader one needs to be to kind of to rally a crew
Yeah.
that will roll with the punches,
Yeah.
the dogs and all the
Yeah.
things. And so, but man, I that perspective is wow. I love my wife, but we
Yeah,
got a
you
little
gotta
one
do
now,
stuff.
and so like there's always something
Yeah,
happening,
work.
always. Yeah, work.
You know,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah,
I ain't have to think
absolutely.
about I ain't even think about food. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, I ain't thinking
which
about
is
food. I'm
great.
just running. And then they like, you
Yeah,
gotta eat. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna
yeah,
eat.
yeah. Because how many times would you you might not have eaten if you didn't have a crew sometimes,
Yeah.
or at least not the appropriate amount.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Respect, respect. All right. Last question for you, Tommy. What is the lesson that you're still learning after all of this?
Oh man. Um, After all that, what am I still learning? I think it's like the self belief, like peace. Like we can have all the like I can have all the goals and things that I want, and I think that like in this world, like I'm on social media a bit, and people know me for that side of things and sharing, making content, and going these places and all this other stuff. But you know, deep down, like behind all that, like I have like these I have goals and ideas and thoughts that I would love to see happen, and I know why I want them to happen, and I know a lot of it's for me, but a lot of it's because I think it would look amazing and maybe inspire somebody else in some way. And but somehow, like I often go around that moment where I get to stand in like my own self belief and like
Yeah.
confidence that it's me, you know. Um, and not to say that it's any better than anything or anybody else, but I think it would be helpful for us all to remember where a lot of this is coming from. Like it's coming
Mhm.
from it's coming from us. It's coming from like our soul, our spirit, and our mind. And be happy about that and share it. It's not about like, oh, look how this I am. It's about, oh, like this is what I offer, and this is where my value lies. And so I'm gonna lean into that value
Yeah.
instead of just kind of like skirting around that, and then just you just kind of you like distill down like the core of who you are sometimes by just kind of making it palatable for yourself to say that
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
that you're proud of yourself,
Yeah.
because when I touched that sign though, it's like I don't know what I felt actually. Like it felt like everything,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it was just, and it also felt like nothing because it was a sign.
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, it's a it's a it's a crazy thing to do all that and then walk away with just missing it. Because when I watch that, other than the crying part, like when I watch that, I miss that thing that TSP or that distance offers.
Hmm.
You know, it's just you're just out there,
Yeah.
just doing the thing.
I love what you said about, I mean, and it ties back to this Cassius Clay kind of
Yeah.
speech of I think almost like irrational,
Mm,
what may seem irrational to others or even to yourself sometimes, of just like self-belief and not in many ways dimming your light of trying to make it make sense, but being I think overly proud of what you do and what you've done, and knowing that your intentions are only to push people and culture and communities forward with your own story. That, yeah, be loud about it, and don't, hold back. And I'll say that 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 comes through for me, and how I've watched and observed you over the years, throughout this year and this experience, and through the film. I it's moving to see you as a black man, that has fought through, sobriety, and has now, it's been, coming up on 10 years soon of sobriety, which is really awesome. Not, 9-year mark is around the corner. You as a father, I literally, I think when your race started,
yeah,
I
you're.
was just like in the window
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
baby boys coming. And uh I think there's a lot of inspiration that I've received from you,
Appreciate that.
without even us being able to like just sit here and speak like this. And so, yeah, Tommy, I mean, know that you're doing what you are setting out to do. You are impacting the people, I think. And yeah, man, don't stop. It's an honor. Excited to see what you do next.
Nah, I appreciate it.
Let your boy know I might know somebody that can have you running in Chile next
Hey,
year.
dog,
If that's
I seen it. I seen it happen. I'm like, good job, Victor. I believe. I'm gonna let that. I'm gonna let you have that one. But man, if I could say real quick,
Mhm.
just a couple things. Like, one thing that came up, when you were just talking there is I'm gonna say it from a black standpoint, but this is
Mhm.
really anything. But especially like as a black person, is we spend a lot of time defining what we're not,
Yeah,
you know,
man.
and
Mhm.
but then we work so hard to show the world or the system what we're not, and
Mhm.
but we are so tied to that as opposed to showing them like fully what we are.
Yeah.
And that's difficult because it what we are is almost so close to what we're not, that
Mhm.
because we are proud and we are like strong and like creative and loud when we want to be and can be and passionate, and that's scary on the other side, and that's almost what we are trying to prove that we're not. and
Mhm.
and we have to just let go of that thing and then like and
Yep.
just like live, because you walk into a room knowing that I could say 10 things right now that I feel like would get the thing done, but I'm
Yeah.
only gonna say like 6 of them because I don't want to seem too much on the other side, you know?
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
when really when we're given, see, that's another given. When we take and use and say what we have to say, um, when has it when has it failed us, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Everybody that we talk about that ends up on a wall and in a picture or a tattoo is somebody that said it, did it,
Yeah.
pushed,
Mhm.
and um, we're all here because of them people. So you know, I don't think there's any other Martin Luther King's about to roll through here, but we could at least be the version of that today, which is just live all the way and say
Yeah.
what you got to say. and as long as it's pushing everything forward. But also, too, a lighter note. Thank you so much to my crew. Like my crew was
Yes.
amazing. I had no ultra experience, and nobody else in our camper or my team had any ultra experience. Only people did was a marathon. So shout out to Dante for being like the crew mother and the mean
Mhm.
person that kept me she kept me going. And took care of us all and gave us some food and cooked for us and stuff. And she ran 120 miles that week.
Wow.
Shout out to Ern, who like Ern is a family guy down to the bone, and he spent 8 9 days out in the wilderness with us, and put a ton of miles in too. And shout out to Shannon, who that damn near was his RV. He owned that RV, bro. Like if it he drove it for the like 80 something percent of the time, maybe 90% of the time, he took care of everything that was involved around that thing. So he did his job to the fullest. And then shout out to Olu for I know all these other people. Olu was new to us. I only met him like really one time. And
Wow.
for him to jump into like that scene and be be so new to like the whole experience of anything outside of a triple jump, in the Olympics, and to capture what he captured and stay true to what I was asking for, which was to show every piece of this thing. I don't want to come out looking sweet. If I
Mhm.
want it to look like what it was.
Yeah.
I want it to look like 340 miles from somebody who is new to, you know.
Mhm.
Um, and I wanted to show it as vulnerable as possible, and he did that. And then shout out to Niels for just for giving us the opportunity or me the opportunity to do this. And when I was deciding whether it was a relay or solo, he let me have that moment to kind of think it through. And then when it ultimately came down to it, said words that made me feel like, oh, this is for me to do. And then that all the way to the point where I had showed him this documentary. I've been sitting on it for a minute because I was honestly I had imposter syndrome around the whole thing. I
Mm.
watched, Mikey and all these other people drop their thing and they do the, whatever, and they so used to it, they cool, they all this other stuff. And I just like, man, nobody want to see 52 minutes of me.
Mhm.
And it's not whatever. And I showed it to him like, hey, I don't know what to do with this. I actually have imposter syndrome around. And he was like, I'll look at it. Let me see. He came back and basically made me feel silly for thinking that way. He was like, "Look, you tripping. This is great," you know. And he told me all some other words and stuff that was super meaningful. And now we're here.
Mhm. Mhm. Man, Tommy, I mean, shout out to your crew. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being vulnerable with us. And uh, I think to close,
Yeah,
what's next?
I can't even say for real. I can't even say actually, but it's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
It is not. It is not 300 something miles, nowhere near that. But I'm always gonna do what is exciting to me, and I feel
Mhm.
and what I can actually pour into and do wholeheartedly, and not just for the vibe, but more for like the actual challenge of it, and it feel
Yeah.
like it's valuable to me, and I feel like I can push myself to another level or something. Then I feel like it's valuable for somebody else to at least see, even if it's just one person. So it's gonna be dope. It should be fun. Um, and yeah,
All right. So we'll stay tuned. Tommy, thank you so much for your time again, your
cheers.
vulnerability. And yeah, man, I'm gonna hit you up some random times, just with some father questions
That's
and
fine.
all that. So yeah, just look out for those.
For sure, for sure. Absolutely.
All right, man. Everybody, thank you for joining. I believe this stays up, so definitely share this with your friends, your people. Obviously, I think this story, this conversation is really important for people to just to know. Anyone that's suffering, struggling. I think this journey, really highlights that we're all doing it. It's hard, but I think something that really came through was finding your people that are gonna stick with you and help you kind of reach the goal that you want to reach. And again, yeah, thank you, Tommy, so much.
Peace. Thank you,
Peace out.
man.